personally, but maybe putting stuff together that we can share with everybody else around, the U.S. and different parts of the world of what different clubs are doing in these times, and hopefully, obviously, help people. Everybody's going through different situations, obviously, within their club and the different backgrounds of the club. So I think it's pretty cool to have a diverse field in here with an MLS DA club, a regular DA club, a club from Spain, and a club from Canada. So hopefully there will probably be some similarities, but hopefully there'll be some differences and some takeaways that we can use at our clubs to help the players and help the coaches. So we'll go through the beginning quick questions. First, obviously, thanks you guys for coming on. It means a lot for you guys to join us. So the first question is just state your name and then your current role at your club. So Amro, you would go first.
Yes. Okay. Well, my name is Amro. I'm in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. In our club, the club is called Étoile de l'Est. It's a French name. And my role at the club is assistant technical director, and I'm in charge of the entire boys program. So I supervise from the U8s and up to the high performance team. And I coach in our club as well, the older team. So the 18 and up is where I'm more closely involved with the 18, U21 and our senior boys team. Background, I've been at that club for about eight years. I grew up playing here in Quebec, and I coach also in futsal with the provincial futsal teams. Worked a little bit with the national futsal team, and that's it. Right now, the only work I'm doing at the moment is just with my club, trying to support our players.
Hey guys, my name is Tommy Kuzanovic. I am obviously with the Armada. I am the assistant DA director. Not too long ago, I actually played for the professional team here, and not too long ago, and have been since with the club since about 2010, I believe 2010, 2011. Again, have been with the club for that long, and always been here, and currently the assistant DA director.
Roberto.
My name is Roberto Cibaja. I've been in Florida. I haven't been long in Florida. I've been here for only 9 months. Originally, I spent many years in Atlanta. Now I work for Orlando City. I'm the head coach of the U19s. I was also the interim coach for the end of the season for the USL last season. So it's been an interesting 9 months for us. And again, I mean, trying to make the best out of these difficult times right now. So I guess we'll talk about it as it comes.
Okay, I think it's my turn. I'm Sergio from Spain. Thank you for having me here again. So I'm the first assistant coach in the U12 DA, but I also had to have the role of a head coach this season for personal reason of the head coach. So I have to do that role as well. I've been coaching for many years here in Madrid, where I'm from, and in different local teams here. And also I've been working with Real Madrid Foundation since 2017. That gave me the chance of traveling a lot around the world, doing clinics and campus. I also had the chance to go to US last summer for 6 weeks. So that's my intro.
Great. So we'll get right into the next question is what's your club doing currently now to keep your players involved technically, obviously tactically, and physically? So those three components. Just touching on some quick details of what you're doing.
I guess I can start. I'll jump in. So what we're doing here is we've created some content on some home training videos. Basically a month worth of training videos that could be anywhere from an hour and a half long for the players, but have been basically just 3-minute videos that they can go in, they see the the assignment and then go out and perform it, whether it's in their backyard or somewhere at the park, where they're where they're keeping distance. But home training videos has been one thing. We send out probably three videos a week, and then it cycles back around for the next month, and they can kind of see and evaluate where they stand. Another one has been match analysis, just to sharpen their tactical mindset and growth mindset. So just match analysis as far as, and these, again, the match analysis is an optional component that we've added, but allows players to go in, look at their own videos from their past games, but then also compare that to professional players and professional games. So that's basically what we've been doing, along with some fitness challenges that we've provided for them as well.
Okay, great. I can go. So for us, very similar. We try to give videos every Tuesdays and Thursdays. So I'll record a video and I'll put it up online, and then we send it to our groups by age group. So we've sort of put them into 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. And then the older boys are all together in one. And we have videos that are about 30 to 40 minutes long of technical work. And everyone has the video, and then they all join us on Zoom. So I'll be watching them execute the videos. And if I have any comments or corrections, I can do it that way. We found that was the best way to try and get to see everyone. And our technical director also gave them a conditioning program to follow throughout the week. We don't really have any way of following up with them or seeing how much they can track it. Like, we've tried to keep track on some apps, but it's very difficult to try and see how well they do it. From a tactical point of view, we've tried to do something similar to match analysis. We have our club philosophy and some basic principles, and we're asking questions about moments in games in regards to those principles. We're going to start doing that tactical work as of next week, but that's pretty much it for us.
Berto?
Similar. I think everybody's is going the same route. We're just sending, what we're doing right now is on Sundays, we send the entire week. So we send a training session for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. The session will be 1 hour long of technical and 25 minutes long of physical. So the fitness coach, okay, we are blessed because we do have a fitness coach full time. Designs the physical aspect, and the coaches design the technical work. That's just for about 1 hour and 15 to 1 hour and 25 minutes per day. We are not, we are only recording some of the fitness stuff. So because the GPSs that we have, we cannot give them to the players, because they're required to be put back on the case in order for us to be able to record them. And obviously we cannot see each other on a daily basis to be able to record that. So from the physical standpoint, that's how the fitness coach is looking into things. We're also sending, just for fun, challenges. Challenges that are just fun to keep their mind with some sort of sanity at this time, right? Because I'm sure that the parents, as well as them, they don't want to see each other anymore after today. It's our 4th full week. So 4 weeks ago, we sent people home and didn't allow them to come out. So hopefully people are respecting that, which is very important. We're doing the same video analysis that we do the day prior to the game. We're doing the video analysis on Tuesdays. We're giving them homeworks, and we're sending them videos by position. So for example, for the defensive line, 2, 3, 4, 5, get a video, get the same video, but they have to work on some specific ideas. Okay, how to play out of the back offensively, and defensively, how to, just as an example, how to defend crosses and second balls. So they have to create a report for Thursday. So we're going to give them 3 weeks of that work, and then create a big Zoom meeting. On the other hand, also, what we're doing is IDPs, which is individual development plans. We are doing individual calls. So myself, my assistant coach, and the player will have a three-way call in which we can discuss their IDP again. We usually do that every 2-3 months anyways. So every trimester we do that. So that's what we're doing right now. A little bit of we're not sending videos with the examples. We're sending actual training sessions with the workouts, and we're doing it every 2 weeks for the technical part, and every Sunday the fitness coach sends them the week. So it's a little bit more, but I think that we're still training at least an hour and a half Monday through Friday. Again, the intensity, the quality, it's something that is very difficult to measure, and we are missing obviously the most important aspect, which is training together.
Mm. Very interesting. But I'm going to start with the technically aspect. I have to say that as everybody, nobody knew that it was going to last for that long. So we weren't very prepared, like everybody, I guess. So in the technically aspect, we are starting to work on that this week exactly. We are gonna do it by challenges. I had to say that our group is they are very high technique level. So we are like implementing some challenges that really challenge them. But we have a problem, and which is the size of the apartment here. Because in Madrid, most of the kids live in an apartment, so we don't have the options to go out to the backyard, and so the space is a problem. So we are like dealing with that. So that's what we're doing with technically aspect, and this is, as I said, is something that we are implementing now. But tactically, honestly, we are not doing anything right now, but we are starting to think about doing some video stuff. By physically, the first training, the physical trainer for the first team with the team in La Liga is doing an activation video for the players every day. It's very standard, so all the players can do it. It's like kind of fun, but they feel activated, and also they feel motivated because he's the physical trainer from the first team. Mm-hmm. Which is something that all the players want to achieve, no, in their career to get to that point, to get to the first team. So that's pretty cool. And that video is also open for everybody, so everybody can watch it. After the session, they put it on, they upload on YouTube. So it's cool. But the club is gonna implement, besides that, a physical training class or video, depending on the age. Does it make sense?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's something that they're gonna implement soon. As, again, because this is lasting longer than we all thought. But also, if you let me, I would like to add to this aspect, the emotionally aspect. Because we consider that our players, like your players as well, they've been together week after week, week after week for many months, and now they all don't see each other. So we know all the birthday parties, all the birthdays for all the players, and their day we all film a video saying happy birthday or nice words for that player, and send it to that player through the parents because they are 12 years old. and the club put it on social media as well, that video. So they feel like loved and connected to their teammates. That's what we are doing. I hope that it's interesting to you.
Yeah, it definitely is. I mean, you know, it's tough to think about that. The fact that, especially in Europe, you guys are, when you talk about quarantine, like you're saying, you're quarantined in an apartment, and that's what most of the players, they live in smaller apartments. And you know, being from there, I know what that is like. Is it that, or is it still that no one is allowed in the street? Is only unless you're making? Is it?
Yeah. No one is allowed in the street.
Interesting.
Yeah.
How long has that been going on for you guys?
Almost a month.
Wow.
Almost a month. Yeah, it started March 13th.
Yeah. So for us, obviously, well, for us, for Roberto and I in Florida, is a little bit different. We just last week Friday, the state came out with safer at home quarantine, and but even that, you can still walk out. You can go walks. You can go, you know, you can go run. Stay healthy. Stay active. Obviously, social distancing is encouraged, and only making grocery store runs, etc. But it's a completely different animal to think about the fact that, you know, the situations that players are in. And I like that you guys are doing that. The emotional aspect plays a major part. It's definitely something to think about. For us, it's probably a little bit easier because players are able to still go outside, and, you know, like Roberto mentioned, you do challenges and to keep them active, and maybe they are a little bit more motivated to challenge each other, and whether it's juggling or reps or whatever they may be.
That's what we're doing.
But again, I mean, I like that idea. What is it? Is that the same? Does that the same go for Canada up there for you guys, or?
For us, it sort of just changes every week a little bit, because when it first started, it was they were promoting everyone to go outdoors and be active, and then they started seeing lots of regroupments outside, so people would meet up in groups, and then they said, okay, no more regroupment, so no more partnering up in groups of 3 or 4, and now you can still go outside, but on your own, or someone from your household. You can't be with someone else. And now you get almost $1,000 ticket if 2 friends are together. So now it's tough. So for our players, it's tough for them to go and work out together, even if they're 2. You know, even if they keep their social distancing, it's still tough. They're not allowed at all. So that's why for most of our trainings, we've had to do lots and lots of ball mastery stuff, or just, you know, sequences on your own, like you know, step overs, cuts, just things where they're trying to work their endurance, but ways on their own. So I'd seen some of the videos you guys made at the Armada. Pat had shared them with me, and they're great videos. You know, you guys, are you guys still allowed to go to the fields, individual players, or in groups, or no? Because most of them were outside, right?
No, we now try to keep the players quarantined and obviously at home. The videos have been done way before, and that's obviously a little bit easier, even before that Friday. But, you know, one thing that we see is that the younger ones challenge themselves more with, like you're saying, the juggling, the technical stuff, whereas the older ones then can go into more of the physical stuff, and you know, where they run a 2-mile run and what they try to do. Again, it's more of an interesting motivation than trying to go in and getting a reward for something that you're doing. You know, it's tough, but also it's a good environment for players to find out and kind of be challenged, right?
Yes, I agree.
See what they do with it.
What do you guys, we talked about obviously all the different trainings, how are you guys able to keep the players motivated? Obviously we have 2 professional clubs on, so maybe there's some different motivations of getting to the first team eventually. But it's always tough. One, you know, Roberto talked about not having software or any data to really track the players. So how can we work to keep the players motivated, to keep them engaged, especially if this can keep going on for another month? You know, I think the beginning was a novelty idea. Everybody kind of bought into it, but then as we keep going week and week away from the fields. What are you guys thinking about the motivation? You know, I think it's going to get harder and harder on the players.
I think all the players, the goal for everybody is to make it to the next level, whatever that level is. If you're looking at the United States, you're looking at maybe college, maybe USL, maybe NPSL, whatever league you have around, that's going to be your ultimate goal. Some of our players on the, because we're not going to put on the second team, and they're very good students, and they want to get the college path, which is something that is also important for us, even though it's their ultimate goal will be trying to put players on the first team. I believe that those players, that the carrot that you have for them, at least for the 19s, will be, all right, do you want to play in college and start? That's the number one. The other ones that are the 19s that are now playing, the 10 players that we moved from U19 to the USL team, the motivation is, as soon as the league goes by, I want minutes on the first team. The ones that we have to really focus on are 17, 15s, and 14s that really don't have a goal until August. And really, you know, what do you do when you're ready to cut 2 players per team, 3 players per team, 5 players per team? You know, that's going to be difficult as well. But the motivation, that's why we create the challenges. Maybe the challenges are not for you to improve as a soccer player, but the challenges are for you to put something on your head and motivate you to do it. Whether it's a stupid challenge, like it was the toilet paper, or whatever it is, whatever challenge it is. We also are fortunate, we have Antonio Nocerino with us. Antonio Nocerino played for Juventus as well as Milan, and he was an Orlando City player. He's our under 15 coach. So we asked him to also do videos on his massive backyard. That helps because he's got like a half a field right next to an Olympic-sized swimming pool on his house. So it's good because he works with us, but at the same time, it's good because who's not going to be motivated by somebody that was a Champions League player, Italian national team player, Juventus, Milan. So obviously it helps. Regardless, I think Sergio it's creating a very good environment as well, because you get the first team fitness coach who doesn't want to listen to that, you know. And I think Orlando has done a good job, because also the first team coach is having weekly meetings with he was having weekly meetings with the DA staff anyways, but now he's having them on Zoom, and he's asking for reports on the weekly basis. So I think for me as a coach, I'm also getting motivated by the first team coach questioning me, why are you doing this? Why are you going out of the bag like this? Tell me why. Let's argue it. And we have the whole staff listening to it. So playing out of the bag with the 19s, I give him 4 or 5 videos. I go through them, and he goes, why? I disagree with this. I agree with this. I like this. I don't like this. I will change this. So I think that's a motivation from the top down. And I think that all of us on this call will be able to do that. Okay. I think you know, a video coming from Tommy or Pat on Armada will be good, because they're the head of they're the top of the top. Okay. So I think that motivates the coaches, and that eventually also motivates the players. So I think those are the things that we've done. And as Sergio is talking about, I think it's very important for you to get something from the top. And whether it's for the coaches, the assistant coaches, the assistant directors, the players, everybody. I think if you create an engagement, I think it goes further than anything else. It's impossible to get on the social part, but how can we get on the social part list if it's on the internet? I mean, just imagine if this happened in 1988 when there was no FaceTime.
Yeah.
Now we have a lot of good things going our way. Okay.
And to piggyback off of that, I think, you know, like you're saying, it's and similar to you guys, where it's so important to check in weekly with the staff. And what we've started doing is checking in weekly with our players, obviously now if the players are seeing the coaches weekly and their teammates, there's more of a less of an emotional problem then later, rather than just not seeing anyone for a while, right? But also something that has helped and that we've seen is using parents as a resource to help provide, players with the ability to come in, whether they're 17 or 19. I work obviously with the 17s and 19s, but even the younger ones, the 10-year-olds, the 11-year-olds. And we did, not too long ago, or actually last Monday, we had a former alum that now plays in Germany. So he jumped on the call and he was able to answer some questions for some players. That was really cool. And it started off very slow, and then as it started, it progressed into something more. So like you're saying, if the first team coach is checking in, obviously there's your motivation as a staff member to want to do better and want to do more, and that kind of trickles down. And I'm sure same thing with if you're in Canada or in Spain, if you have, I'm sure the same thing happens when you're saying La Liga puts together a video and the head guy is doing the video, the players want to do it, right? There's a motivational aspect to that. So it's really good.
Yeah, look, I'm just on that point. I agree. It's I think whenever the top directors or assistant directors or head coaches are showing the example, it's going to motivate any kids. Just like when we're in practice and the coach gets involved a little bit, the kids love it. It's sort of the same. So for us, we're trying to do that, and that's why doing the videos or putting these challenges with us doing it doesn't really give an excuse for any player to just to not do it. So with the older guys, like you said, Tommy, that's much more physical work that they're doing, and I've sort of tried to do that with them. So we have one meeting a week where we're exercising together in our living rooms, doing something for 45 minutes or 40 minutes, and we try to just challenge each other on there's an app, Nike Run Club, where we can add each other as friends and we can track our runs. So I'm trying to, honestly, this is probably the best time for me because it's putting me in the best shape I've been in the last maybe 5-6 years. So the more I run, the more they get motivated. So I think that's definitely a good point of just leading by example.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that. I'm going to start with me as a coach. I'm getting motivated this time by learning and trying to use my time wisely. There are so many chats like that open nowadays with important people speaking about soccer ideas, and also emotional stuff that you have to learn in order to deal with the group. I'm getting motivated because I can't wait to get back on the field and put that in practice, or try to always to improve or get better. So that's how I'm getting motivated this time, and also participating in this chat as well, and knowing you all. And for the players, besides what I said before about the physical training, I thought about a FIFA tournament that the club organized, and one player from every team play a tournament, and the winner got to play a final or a match, FIFA, versus one player from the first team, from a professional, from La Liga, which was really challenging for all the players, and that was pretty awesome. They also had open, the games were open on the social media, so you can watch the games. I think that helps the players to feel motivated. Yeah, that's it.
Very cool.
Good. So since Roberto only has about 20 minutes left, we'll jump into another question. With a lot of things being technology based, have you guys run into any issues with kids not having access to internet, or kids not having access to computers, or the stress from homeschool and the different things going on in their life now? making it difficult for them to complete assignments, et cetera. Well, I know we personally did right at the beginning. We had to adjust some things on our end, but just wondering with you guys, because our demographic is so all over the place with the club. So obviously this is new to us, so we had to adjust on the fly. But wondering if you guys had any issues about, you know, doing in the Zoom calls on the computer, or coming up with some presentations the boys do, et cetera, and any issues you've kind of addressed during that.
Yeah, so go ahead, Roberto.
No, go, Tommy.
No, just like Pat mentioned, we gave out some match analysis assignments, and maybe a day later we received a few emails here and there and saying some of the parents may have lost their jobs, or some of the players have not been able to get access to technology just because, you know, they have another 3 or 4 brothers and sisters who also use the computer. So a bit difficult. So what we started doing is, instead of making it mandatory, we just gave the option of doing the assignment. And then if it pertains to the player, great. If the player can do it, fantastic. It was a group assignment that was done, kind of like Roberto was saying, on position specific traits. So we did the goalkeepers, we put them into a group. We put the center backs into a group, outside backs into a group, and so on and so forth. And we've gotten back some feedback, not mostly was good, and most of them have been able to do it, but just some feedback that it's hard. It's hard for the players to get the assignment done, because virtual school has just started and they're throwing all kinds of assignments at the kids and players, and then also the help and the resources from parents, because parents too have to work, and now that the hours are so crazy. So just interesting to find out what you guys see and what you guys have.
For us, we've encountered some of those problems for sure. The first week we had asked guys to report back at a specific time, you know, and with their times or whatnot. And we had a lot of guys who weren't able to, who said there's a lot of people at their house. I didn't have access to the internet. I couldn't be alone at that time. So that's why we realized it was tough. So we started recording some of the sessions and the how-tos, and just asked them to try and complete it on their own time. You know, there's 2 in a week. Try to do them, you know, if you can do both, maybe twice in a week at whatever time that you can, it's better, because honestly, it's really as we go along. Every week, whatever problem comes along, we're going to try and address it. But it's so new to everyone that there is no good answer, right? We're just trying to adjust on the fly.
I think we've been, some of the challenges that I see with you guys, we're not having, because we only have 4 teams. We have one under 14, one under 15, one under 17, and one under 19. So really, obviously, for Tommy, Patrick, and also Amro, you guys are looking at 100 teams, 80 teams, 60 teams, 40 teams, depending on the size of the club. But for us, it's been 4 teams with a head coach in each team, a couple of assistant coaches that are also assisting them. So it's very easy for us to manage it. That's from our standpoint. But at least on the 19th, and I have not heard anything else, there has not been an issue in regards to that. What we did do was do all the phone calls, do all the meetings on the times that we were training. So one of the things that I didn't mention before was we keep the same schedule. I want players to sleep in, great, but nobody wakes up after 8:30 or 9 a.m. Then you do your school work, you eat at the right times, and then after 3 p.m., which when all the kids are done with school and they will either be heading to practice, we did it that way. So what we're asking the kids is to also train, even those kids that are done with schoolwork at 11 a.m., to train at 3:30 and 5 or 4 and 6, okay? Because those are the times that the body should continue to get used to training. So when let's say we go back in, it's difficult, let's be honest. I think we're gonna go back to August, right? But let's say we go back in 2 weeks, right? Then the players are used to waking up. When they come back to the school, they might wake up an hour before, but that's okay. But when when they're having lunch, they're having lunch at 12, 12:30, 1. When they come back to practice, the body's used to come and practice at 3:30, 4, 5 o'clock. So we're asking them not to change their biological clock a lot, because they're going to eventually come back and do that. So that's one of the biggest was one of the biggest concerns for us, and I think we're kind of controlling that. So we're doing everything at the same time that we will do it 3 months ago or 6 months from now.
Great point.
Yeah, very good point.
And in our case, it's been challenging because, as I said before, it's U12, so we don't have direct connections with the kids. We talk to them through the parents. Their parents are in the WhatsApp group, so there are some players that we haven't talked to them much because we depend on the parents. And Roberto, I think it's really interesting what you said about like setting the schedule at the same time that you are having the practices. So if you don't mind, I think I'm going to take that. Good idea.
This is why we do this chat, so we can get ideas from each other and try to improve what we have.
Absolutely. Good stuff. So we'll do 2 more questions. And obviously this looks different, I think, with everybody because the setups are different. But as Roberto says, there's a good chance won't be in till July, maybe even August. So planning for next year is obviously different than we're used to, right? So picking teams, whether it's tryouts and a regular youth setup, team selection, talks with current players if they're not making the team. So how much planning have you guys started, or will you start, and what's the timetables with that, with team selections for next year?
We had a long. Sorry.
No, go ahead. Sorry.
We had a long chat today, 2.5-hour phone call, because what we did was we did a depth chart. I'm talking DA only, right? Of course, there's other teams and other situations, but we always have a depth chart. And what we did was we created a depth chart with percentages. And we created a chart. Okay, number 1 is DA, number 1.5 is a good DA, number 2 MLS DA, number 2.5 standout for MLS DA, number 3 potential player for the second team, 3.5 starting player for the second team, 4 first team level, 4.5 MLS standout, 5 national team or international, right? Give or take. That's kind of what we have. So the coach and the assistant coach will give a grade to the player as well as the director. And we're creating average of players so we can then look into a depth chart on a schematic. So that's how we're going to. There's players that we have to cut. That is in every nation of the world, every team, even if it's the 4th team of the club, or the 3rd, or the 2nd, or the 5th, it doesn't matter. You have to cut players. That's usually what happens. So obviously we have a scouting network, and we're going to start looking into as soon as we met today. So our director is going to start reaching out to some of the clubs, and we still have to do something in June or July. We're going to have to do a combine where we can see players, especially on the youngest ages, because we were able to see some, but not a lot. So those U14 players that are coming into the club, we have to really see. 15s, 17s, and 19s, we kind of know because we played against other clubs, but that's kind of what we're doing. And the decision-making is going to have to be done later than usual. Usually in April, you should be able to have all the teams in our case. Now, June.
Mm-hmm. Adapting to the new times.
Mm-hmm, yeah, of course.
There's similar like you guys have. We have a depth chart as well, and very similar process. In-house scouting, obviously, because we have a talent pool of 3,000 kids, so a little bit more teams, and so from DA to ECNL to MPL, and so we do our, I think sometimes the perception is that we identify talent only during tryouts, and that is not the case. It's year round, and it's from the past and what we see in the future, what they're going to do. So where we see them, the scale a little bit different, but similar. And so we do our in-house scouting first, so to identify the players that could potentially then be on the team next year, or what level they belong to, or maybe they're not just quite ready yet. So more with the growth mindset of where players stand. And then also have a scouting network ready for players outside of the club. A little bit tougher with the players outside of the club because we cannot hold tryouts, just like you're saying with your 14s, Roberto, and it's different because you haven't seen them. You kind of invite what you can and see what comes in, but a little bit more tough. But we had prior to the pandemic, to COVID-19, we had 2 sessions where we were able to identify some players, and then we have been communicating with. So we have a good idea. Again, nothing has been definitive yet, but we have a good idea of where we stand. So, and again, moving forward, I think this is going to be a norm where we're not waiting until tryouts, but we already know throughout the year where which player belongs where for next year. So.
Yeah.
For us, it's very different because our season starts now. This is when the season would have started. So our teams are made, and they were finalized in February, March were the last cuts that we had to make. So our season go from now, some teams would start in beginning of May and it would go into September. So for us right now, it's really up in the air. We still haven't gotten a final answer from the government or from the sports authority here, whether it's going to start later or if it's going to be canceled altogether. So we're still waiting for updates every week, and we're just following what the government says. If it's canceled altogether, that's going to be tough, and we're going to have to react to that and try and find a way to deal with it. If we're going to keep the same players in the same teams, if we're going to make some changes. We really don't know. It's going to affect a lot of things, but for us, it's still up in the air at the moment.
Mm-hmm. Okay, in my club, there is also a scouting department. They're going to be in charge of that, or making the new squad. But in my position in the staff, when we detect good talent or players, it should probably be on our club. We make a report and send it to the scouting department so they can follow the player up. So that's the way that we've been doing. And now I'm not sure how the club is gonna deal with that, because there are some players there's most of the players from the team, in my opinion, so promote or stay, but some other shouldn't. But it's the scouting and the direction department who's gonna take that decision. So that's all that I know about that.
Sergio, you coach U12s, right?
Yes.
You also have U11s in your club, or is it just from around the city? You have to start recruiting in from then.
No, we have U11s. We have U11s, but as well, when they promote to U12, some of them go out, and some other come.
Is that an exception though? I was talking to Guillermo, and Guillermo said that Leganes has, from youth on and up, other than other La Liga teams, they have a bigger club. Is that right? There are a bigger talent pool and players.
Do you mean it's big, or what?
Yeah, like you have more teams than usual. It's not just a pro academy, but you also have teams underneath. or no?
Yeah. It starts in U8, U8, U9, but there's only one team from every 8. Only one U8, only one U9, only one U10. Because this is like the elite program. So all these players has been chosen to play in this club. So they cannot, let's say they cannot pay to be here, to play there. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
They've been selected. So there is only one team. There is like the foundation, like a non-profit team for Leganés, where other players that don't get the level to play on the elite program, they can join the club on the part of the club, they can join those teams. It's not the same.
So real quick, just to finish up, and Roberto, you can go first in case you have to jump off. If you do have to jump off, Roberto, appreciate you joining us and everything that you've given to us. Hopefully it's helpful for not only us, but other coaches when we share it online. So with anything that happens, especially, you know, down times, hard times in life, there's hopefully some positives to take away from it. And part of this is the innovation and us trying to figure out how to obviously keep our players involved. Was there anything you guys think that at the end of the day, when we get back into playing, that you'll take from this time and maybe implement into your program, whether it's Zoom calls, whether it's different assignments at the home, tactical stuff? Is there anything that you'll take away and implement to hopefully make your curriculum or what you do with your teams better in the future?
I personally think that we have to educate the players better, educate the players, and eventually, hopefully, cause a domino effect on parents. What do I mean about educating the players? And this has been good. Also, the nutritionist of the first team has helped us a lot. Is how do you sleep? How do you eat? And how do you socialize? That's so important. It might go further than anything else. You move soccer, you win, you lose, you tie. Okay. But what are you going to do for the rest of your life? How are you going to manage your life after soccer? Right now, we're looking at players to hopefully go to the first team. And if not, okay, we invested some money. Hopefully, they'll go to college 2-3 years and we can bring them back. Great. Okay. But the other 99% of them, what do we do with them? I think educating them to be better on the daily life, as well as being more social, opening to the social part of the scenario, are going to make them an overall better individual, and it will directly correlate with the improvement on the field. That's just my personal opinion. Second of all, thank you so much, because it was my pleasure to be on the call. I'm going to actually put my phone number on the chat in case you guys want to reach out. I can certainly tell you what not to do, but it's the other way around. So if you need to know how to make mistakes, you can for sure reach out to me. But again, Pat, thanks for putting this out. Hopefully, I wish everybody good luck. Hopefully we can do this again, Pat.
Absolutely.
Maybe next week or in 2 weeks or so. I would like to be involved with everybody. And if you want to send me your information via WhatsApp, that'd be great, so we can stay connected and share ideas.
Sure.
All right?
Thank
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Sorry I have to leave, but I have to jump on another call.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it, guys.
Happy birthday, man.
Thank you.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
I agree.
So yeah, just to pick up Tommy.
Is definitely, you know, like we've talked about creating an optional assignment. We're going from mandatory to optional with the assignment, and you know, obviously some players cannot do it, or some players find it challenging. But that's exactly what we did it for, is just to challenge the players, maybe make them think more outside of the box. I think we're dealing with different things, North America versus Europe, the players, their behavior, as far as motivation goes, as far as understanding goes, as far as what they can get from just playing in the streets versus what they can get playing 4 times a week and training 4 times a week. But all in all, it's more of a what happens after soccer. Soccer is going to be played until here, maybe until 18, maybe until 14, maybe until after college, or maybe until after pro. But creating one thing that we've been trying to do a better job, a holistic approach towards just life in general, right? And using soccer as a source to do that. And we find our challenges. Parents sometimes want to do a little bit less. Players want to do a little bit less, and some players want to do more. And then some parents do want to do more for their players. But all in all, I think if you're in this industry, you want to help players to not be only better soccer players, but also a better person. And I think that's what it comes down to. And I mean, now to include all the Zoom meetings, the scheduling, how all that is going to transfer over to the next season is going to be detrimental. So.
Yeah, I agree 100%, especially with what Roberto said as well. Trying to get the kids into a mentality after, like now they're forced to try and fill up their days with things to do, where before it was the schedule was given to them and they just had to show up. And I think that's a really, really important part for all the players to make a good habit out of it after. And for us to find a way to get them to have that mentality, to be structured in their life. One thing we notice often is all the kids, when they go to college in the first year, they struggle. They struggle a lot with their academics just because they can't manage their time well. There's so many distractions and they're not structured. So definitely that's going to be one aspect, how to sleep, how to eat, how to socialize, like he said, and how to plan my day for me to be effective on the field and off the field. I think they definitely correlate. If everything in a player's life is structured and it's going well and he's following a strict program, normally he'll perform better. He's not going to be tired. He's not going to be hungry. He's not going to be out of shape. So those are very, very important points, and that's definitely something we're going to focus on once we get back to try and keep the players focused on. But also, one thing we learned is these Zoom meetings. For example, like I said, we do with our older boys, we're doing the physical training, us in our living rooms on our own. That's definitely something for us in our reality that I think we're going to start applying as a club, because in the winter times here, so from fall, let's say November to end of February, we're always indoors, and the costs of having turf fields are astronomical. Like they're very, very, very expensive. And sometimes we waste one field night on doing physical work with our physical preparator, but that's definitely something that we're going to have to look at adjusting and maybe doing it online now.
Yeah, I understand. That's a really good point. Something that we are taking away from this time is structuring your life. That's a really good point. I 100% agree as well. And I listened yesterday in one of those chats or conversation from one of the. It was a sports psychologist. He was saying, I experienced yesterday what get bored mean. And I haven't experienced that in years, because nowadays with all the social media, emails, Netflix, it's like you never get bored. You never get have time to think, and you never have time to think about what's going on in your life, what do you want, what do you want to achieve next. And I think that's something that everybody's going to take away from this time, and something that we'll like to implement in our teams, and is keep in contact off of the field. Like I was saying at the beginning, with all the birthdays videos and and also the FIFA tournaments. Maybe it sounds silly, but I think the players feels connected. It's like speaking their languages, and I think it's a really good. In my opinion, that's what I think I'm gonna take.
Yeah. Before we couldn't wait to get them off the video games, and now we want them on the video games. Sure.
Yeah, it's something that in this traumatic time, it's something that it's keeping them to feel connected.
Yeah, absolutely. We agree. Something that I think that's a cool thing that everyone's, like taking away and reflecting and actually really learning from this situation. And as bad as it is, you have to take the goods out of it and and apply.
Yeah, and well, doesn't kill you, make you stronger, no? So I think we are all like trying to adapt to this new situation. I think it's gonna, and somehow it's gonna help us to grow as I hope as a coach, and but I really hope it's as a person. So.
Absolutely. I think we always have to take positives, no matter what life throws at you. When you come out the other end, you got to take something from it and grow from it as a person. And I appreciate you guys coming on here today and talking with us, and hopefully we can help other coaches out in the U.S. and different parts of the world to cope with this, and just offering different ideas. There's definitely never a perfect way to do anything in this game. But especially now that we're having to deal with the unknowns of stuff we've never dealt with, it's great to have different people come on and talk and share ideas. And hopefully we help someone down the line, whether it's tomorrow or the next day once we post this. And then I just want you guys, the same thing Roberto said, we'll post our numbers, stay in contact, whatever we can do to help out. I think it's the time, the time that this happens is the time of need, and hopefully we can all help each other out in some form moving forward as well.
Great. Thank you guys very much.